Your support matters. With 90% of our viewers yet to subscribe, we need your help to keep creating engaging content. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let us know where you're watching from. Leave your city in the comments below. Samantha stood by the window of her small, cozy apartment. She held a warm cup of coffee and watched the sunrise over the quiet city. It had been a year since her divorce from Tom. The sharp pain was gone, but the memories still lived in her heart. She had worked hard to rebuild her life. As a freelance graphic designer, she focused on her career and personal passions. But even with her busy day, Samantha sometimes missed the comfort of being with someone, the companionship she once shared with Tom. One sunny afternoon, as she scrolled through her phone, a message from a mutual friend, Jenna, appeared. "Hey Sam, Tom is back in town. He wants to catch up with you. Are you open to it?" Samantha froze. Her heart raced. She hadn't spoken to Tom in a long time. Their marriage had ended peacefully, but the thought of seeing him again stirred something deep inside her. After a few moments, she replied, "I'm open to it. Let's see how it goes." The days before their meeting were filled with anxiety. She kept remembering their laughter, the dreams they once shared, and why they had to walk away from each other. She had changed since the divorce, grown stronger, but she was curious about what Tom wanted to say. On the day they were to meet, Samantha carefully picked out her outfit, something simple, but neat. She arrived at the cafe early. Her heart pounded as she walked in and saw Tom already waiting at a corner table, smiling warmly. He stood up and hugged her. "Wow, it's been a while," he said with kindness. "You look great." "Thanks, Tom. It's good to see you," she replied, taking her seat. They talked about their lives, work, travel, and friends. It felt oddly comforting, but beneath the surface, Samantha could feel something unspoken between them. Tom's eyes kept lingering on hers, and it felt like he was holding something back. Then he spoke. "I've been thinking a lot since the divorce. I realized I didn't fully appreciate what we had. I was too focused on work and didn't give our relationship the care it deserved." Samantha felt her heart tighten. "We both made choices that led us here," she said gently. "I needed to grow too." "I know," he nodded. "I've been working on myself. I just wanted you to know, I regret how it ended." His honesty touched her, but she was cautious. When she asked, "Where do we go from here?" he replied softly, "I'm not asking for anything big. I just want us to reconnect. Maybe be friends again." Over the next few weeks, Samantha and Tom began to meet more often. They walked in the park, met for coffee, and shared their lives again, but as friends. There was comfort in their connection, but also tension, like something unspoken was growing. One night, while watching a movie together, Tom turned to her. "I really enjoy being with you again, Sam. It feels good." "I feel the same," she replied, her voice soft. "But we have to be careful. We can't forget our past." As time passed, Tom invited Samantha to a gathering with his friends. She went, but when she saw him laughing with a woman named Claire, she felt a sting of jealousy. Later, her friend Jenna asked, "What's wrong?" Samantha sighed. "I didn't expect to feel this way. I thought I was over him." The next day, she asked Tom to meet. "Last night, when I saw you with Claire, it made me realize I still have feelings for you," she confessed. Tom was quiet for a moment. "I didn't know. I've been trying to figure things out too. I never meant to hurt you." "I know, but we need to be honest about what we really want," she said. They talked openly about their feelings, fears, and hopes. Tom finally said, "I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me. But I can't lie, I still care about you deeply." Samantha felt her heart soften. "I want to be happy too, but we need to take it slow. Our past is real, and we need to respect it." Tom agreed. "Let's take our time. I don't want to lose this connection again." As the weeks passed, their friendship deepened into something more. One evening in the park, Tom stopped and said, "I'm glad we're taking it slow. I want to do this right this time." Samantha smiled. "Me too. If we're patient, we can build something beautiful." One weekend, Tom suggested a trip to the mountains. "Just us, nature, and time to relax," he said. Samantha hesitated, but finally agreed. "That sounds amazing." The trip was peaceful. They hiked, laughed by the fire, and shared deep conversations. One night, under the stars, Tom turned to her. "Samantha, I care about you. I don't want to be just friends anymore. Can we give us another chance?" Her heart swelled. "I feel the same, Tom, but I want to be careful. We've both been through a lot." "I understand, but I believe we're ready now," he replied, gently taking her hand. Back home, they stepped into a new relationship, one filled with kindness and respect. They communicated openly, supported each other, and enjoyed life's little joys together. One night while cooking dinner, Samantha looked at Tom and said, "I'm grateful for you. You've become a light in my life." Tom smiled. "And you've helped me grow, Sam. I'm thankful for every moment we share." To celebrate, they invited their close friends for a small gathering. As laughter filled the room, Tom raised his glass. "To new beginnings and second chances. Thank you, Samantha, for letting me back into your heart." Samantha smiled, eyes full of emotion. "To friendship, growth, and love." A year later, as they walked through the park, Tom turned to her again. "Sam, I've been thinking. I want a future with you. Do you feel the same?" She looked at him, tears in her eyes. "Yes, Tom, I've never been happier." They had walked through pain, faced doubts, and healed old wounds. But now, hand in hand, they stepped into a future they chose. Months passed, and Samantha and Tom's bond continued to grow. They were no longer just trying to rebuild the past, they were creating something new. Every day, they learned more about each other. This time, with honesty and care. Samantha found peace in the way Tom listened to her. He no longer rushed to fix everything. He simply sat beside her, holding her hand, letting her speak her heart. Tom, too, was changing. He had learned to slow down, to enjoy the small moments, cooking dinner together, reading side by side, or simply walking in silence. One morning, Samantha woke up to find a small note on her kitchen table. It said, "I believe in us. Thank you for giving me this chance." Tears filled her eyes. It was the kind of quiet love she had always wanted. Not loud, not perfect, but steady and real. They began dreaming again. This time, not about a big house or grand plans, but about a life of meaning. A small garden, weekend trips, Sunday breakfasts, helping each other grow. One Sunday, as they sat in the backyard planting flowers, Samantha looked at Tom and smiled. "I'm happy," she said softly. Tom reached out, wiping a smudge of dirt from her cheek. "So am I, Sam. You make my life feel full." Their families noticed the change too. Samantha's sister said one day, "I haven't seen you this calm in years." Samantha only nodded, her heart full. Peace was loud in its own quiet way. Later that year, on a rainy evening, Tom surprised her with a scrapbook. Inside were photos from their new journey, coffee dates, mountain hikes, rainy walks, cozy dinners. On the last page, he had written, "Love is not about never falling apart. It's about choosing to stay, to try again, and to hold hands through the storm." Samantha pressed her forehead against his. "You came back, and this time, you stayed." Tom kissed her gently, "And I always will." They knew life would still bring challenges. There would be moments of silence, of misunderstanding, but now they had learned how to listen, how to speak with kindness, how to forgive. One night as they lay in bed, Tom whispered, "What do you see in our future?" Samantha smiled. "I see us, still together, maybe older, maybe with more laugh lines, still planting flowers, still holding hands." And as the moonlight fell gently on their faces, they both knew. Their second chance wasn't just about love, it was about choosing each other, every single day. A few weeks later, Samantha received an email that made her pause. It was from a design company in another city. They had seen her work and wanted her to lead a big creative project. It was a dream offer, but it meant moving away for 6 months. She stared at the screen, unsure what to feel. She was excited, but also scared. What would this mean for her and Tom? That evening, she told him about the offer. "It's everything I've worked for," she said quietly, "but it's far." Tom looked at her carefully. "I can see it in your eyes, Sam. You want to go." She nodded. "Yes, but I don't want to lose what we've built." He reached for her hand. "We won't lose it. I'll support you. We'll find a way." Her heart filled with emotion. Tom didn't try to hold her back. Instead, he held her up. They talked for hours that night, about distance, trust, and their future. In the end, Samantha said, "If we can stay strong through this, we can handle anything." A month later, she moved to the new city. The first few days were hard. She missed Tom's smile in the morning, their evening talks, the comfort of his touch. But they called every night. Sometimes they talked about their day. Sometimes they just looked at each other on the screen and smiled. Tom even sent her letters, real paper letters. Samantha would hold them to her chest, reading his words slowly. "No matter how far you go, my heart goes with you." When she visited home for a weekend, Tom picked her up at the station with a bouquet of wildflowers. He looked at her like she was the only person in the world. "I missed you," he said, his voice soft. "I missed you more," she replied, her eyes full of tears. They spent the weekend wrapped in each other's arms, cooking, laughing, and just being together. As the months passed, the distance didn't break them, it made them stronger. They learned to trust, to wait, and to stay true. When Samantha's project ended, she returned home for good. Tom was there waiting, arms wide open. "You came back to me," he whispered. "I never left," she replied. From that moment, they knew they were no longer afraid of the unknown. They had already walked through storms, stood through distance, and found each other again. They didn't need a perfect life. All they needed was love, trust, and the choice to keep showing up for each other. And every morning, as Samantha looked out her window with coffee in hand, she felt thankful for the pain that had taught her, the journey that had shaped her, and the love that had waited and stayed. Samantha's life began to feel full again. She was back home, working with new clients, feeling proud of what she had achieved. And Tom was always there, her steady support, her safe place. They spent their evenings cooking, taking long walks, or simply sitting on the couch with soft music playing in the background. Their love didn't feel rushed, it felt real. One rainy afternoon, Samantha and Tom went for a walk under one umbrella. The sky was gray, and the air smelled of fresh earth. Samantha loved days like this, quiet, peaceful, and close. As they reached the small hill near the park, Tom stopped walking. He looked nervous. "Sam," he said, holding her hand tightly, "I've been thinking about this moment for a long time." Samantha looked at him, confused and curious. "I know we've been through so much," he continued. "We've had our pain, our healing, and our growth. But through it all, one thing stayed the same. I love you." Tears filled Samantha's eyes. Her heart began to beat faster. Tom slowly reached into his jacket and pulled out a small box. He opened it. Inside was a simple, beautiful ring. "Will you marry me?" he asked, his voice shaking just a little. "Not because we need to be perfect, but because we've already learned how to be real. I want to grow old with you, through every season." Samantha covered her mouth, too emotional to speak at first. Then, with a teary smile, she nodded. "Yes, Tom, 1,000 times yes," she whispered. They kissed under the falling rain, laughing, crying, and holding each other like they never wanted to let go. In the weeks that followed, they shared their news with friends and family. Everyone was happy for them. Even Jenna said, "I knew you two were meant to find your way back." They planned a small wedding, nothing fancy, just close friends, a garden, some music, and lots of love. On the day of the wedding, Samantha wore a soft white dress. She walked down a flower path with joy in her eyes. Tom stood waiting, his heart full. When they said their vows, Samantha whispered, "Thank you for finding me again, for waiting, for loving me the right way." And Tom said, "Thank you for letting me in, for giving us a second chance. I will never take it for granted." As they kissed, and the guests clapped, Samantha knew something deep in her heart. Love is not always perfect, it's not always easy, but it's worth it, when it's honest, gentle, and true. That evening, as they danced under the stars hand in hand, Samantha rested her head on Tom's shoulder and whispered, "This is my forever." And Tom smiled, holding her close. "Mine too." After the wedding, Samantha and Tom moved into a small house on a quiet street. It wasn't fancy, The paint was old, the floors made soft creaks, and the garden was overgrown. But to them, it was perfect. It was theirs. They painted the walls together. They planted flowers outside. Every little corner began to hold a memory, a shared laugh, a soft hug, or a quiet morning with tea. Samantha would often wake up before Tom and watch him sleep. In those quiet moments, she felt deep peace, the kind of peace she had once thought she'd never feel again. Sometimes she would whisper, "Thank you for coming back to me." And on some nights, when fear tried to creep in, Tom would hold her close and say, "We're not who we were, Sam. We're better now, and I'm not going anywhere." Their love was not loud. It was in the way Tom placed a hand on her back when she felt tired. It was in the way Samantha saved the last slice of cake for him. It was in the way they said, "I'm listening," during arguments, not "I'm right." One day, while cleaning the attic, Samantha found an old box filled with pictures from their past. One photo was from a trip to the beach years ago. They were young, smiling, holding hands in the sunlight. She brought it downstairs and showed Tom. "We were so young," she said softly, touching the edges of the photo. Tom looked at it, then at her. "We were young, but even back then, I think part of me knew I'd always love you." Tears filled Samantha's eyes. "I'm glad we didn't give up." "So am I," Tom whispered, pulling her into a hug that said everything words couldn't. Later that year, Samantha sat beside Tom on the porch as autumn leaves danced in the wind. She took a deep breath. "I want to talk about something," she said. Tom turned to her. "Anything." "I've been thinking," she said, looking down at her hands, "about starting a family." Tom's eyes softened. "I've been thinking about that too." "Really?" she asked, surprised. He nodded. "But I wanted to wait until you were ready." Samantha smiled, her heart full. "I think I'm ready now." They held each other, their hearts beating with hope, fear, and excitement. It wasn't just about having a child. It was about building a life, a family, a love that would grow through generations. A few months later, Samantha stood in their bathroom, holding a small test in her shaking hands. Her heart raced as she stared at the result. Positive. She walked into the living room where Tom was reading and quietly said, "Tom, we're going to have a baby." He looked up, eyes wide, then full of tears. He stood and walked over to her slowly, wrapping his arms around her like he never wanted to let go. "We're going to be parents," he whispered, his voice shaking. They cried, laughed, and held each other for a long time. In the months that followed, they prepared the nursery together. Samantha painted stars on the ceiling, and Tom built the crib with his hands. Every touch, every moment, was filled with love and care. One night, as Samantha lay in bed, feeling the soft kicks of life inside her, she looked at Tom and whispered, "This is the happiest I've ever been." Tom kissed her forehead and said, "Me too." They had come a long way, from heartbreak to healing, from silence to deep connection, from fear to family. And as they held hands under the soft light of the baby's room, they knew, love is not just something that returns, it grows, it heals, it becomes something new. And together, they were ready for whatever came next. As Samantha's belly grew, so did her love for Tom. Each evening, he would rest his hand gently on her stomach, feeling the soft kicks of the baby. "This still feels like a dream," he would whisper. And Samantha would smile, brushing her fingers across his cheek. "It's real, Tom. This is our life now." There were nights when the house was quiet, the world outside soft with silence, and Samantha felt most connected to him. Not just because they were having a baby, but because their hearts had grown closer. One rainy night, after dinner, Tom helped her into bed. She had been feeling tired. He sat beside her, brushing her hair gently away from her face. "You're so beautiful," he said, his voice warm and deep. Samantha looked into his eyes, touched by how he still saw her, soft, glowing, and whole. She reached for his hand and placed it on her heart. "You make me feel safe," she whispered. "Loved. Desired." Tom leaned forward and kissed her, slow, tender, full of meaning. It wasn't rushed. It was a kiss that said, "I see you. I cherish you." Their bodies moved closer, like two pieces that had always fit. His touch was gentle, always asking, never taking. Her hands wrapped around him, holding him not with hunger, but with gratitude. That night, they didn't just make love. They shared something deeper, a moment of surrender, of connection, of silent promises. Afterwards, they lay still in each other's arms. The rain tapped against the window, but inside, there was only warmth. Tom ran his fingers across her belly. "This life inside you, it's part of our love." Samantha nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "And you're the only person I want to share it with." He kissed her shoulder. "I will always be here, Sam, for you, for our child." In the quiet glow of the night, their souls rested together. There were no perfect words, just perfect peace. And in that peace, they knew their love had deepened, not just in the way they touched, but in the way they held each other's hearts. Now answer me in the feed. Comments I'll be reading. And if you haven't already hit, subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss what comes next. Thanks for being here and for making this channel possible.